ये तो है शोला, ये है चिंगारी, ये है जवाग भी, जिस्मों के पीछे भागे हो फिरते.
He squeezed his eyes as he leaned his head on bed, loosening his body like he's releasing his act as he opened his eyes slowly and took a sip from water. He took the card from bed and by just holding it felt it pierced his skin and felt unbearable pain in his chest. He stared at the card briefly with his red swollen eyes as he traced his hand to her name and chuckled with pain. Please be happy. You deserve happiness. He murmurs, I'm not the one you're looking for. You deserve the world, little girl. He murmurs to himself, smiling as he takes a sip. Why it's hurting me to see violence, he said, pressing his lips, looking at his. It's not just a neck, he murmurs. He slowly feasted the card, curling up in a ball. I am a criminal, he murmurs, sipping as he drinks with water in one go. Pendulum, like me, criminal like me, he murmurs, shaking his head stubbornly. As he got up with wobbly legs, he is so much strength that he barely could stand on his feet. He walked near a mirror and he looked in his eyes, those eyes who were red and drunken. I wish I could pull these eyes out. His voice cracked. He stared at himself harder, like he could break the reflection just by glaring. These eyes, he whispered, who dared to raise on something too fragile on someone so soft. He let out a breath, almost a sob. She was the only thing in this world I would never want to taint, and I did it anyway. He clenched his jaw, gripping the sides of Mary. He looked at her like she was yours, then let her go like she was nothing. Shook his head violently. Don't even deserve to say her name. He punched a mirror. Glass cracked, blood pouring from his knuckle, but he didn't flinch. At the broken fragment version of himself, the monster he always feared he was. Why did you have to be the one thing I couldn't dream? He whispered into dark, shutting his eyes tightly. Opa, don't show mercy. Cut her and her game, she said, clapping in excitement and Wine's mouth hung open. But you did too many times. Let me live for a while. You both brother and sister ganged up against me, she said, pouting, and Jabu closed his cheeks to hide his smile. Why would we do that? She asked, shrugging. Because you don't love me, said Scott. Of course I do love you, babe, but it's clearly cheating. Then what's the point of playing game? She said and Wine rolled her eyes. I don't want to play. I'm clearly losing here, she said, making pound and stand inside. Come on, Wine, it's just a game, she said. Should I send her back to start? Yes. No, Wine yelled, holding his hand. Mr. John, please don't do that. Please, please, please. It's just a baby, or else I cry, she said, showing her puppy eyes while Jungkook just stared. Opa, she is good at manipulating. Don't look in her eyes, she said, and Wine glared at her. I mean, technically, I could have sent back to start. He speaks out of blue, and Wine looked at him, squinting brows. But technically, you could also be a nice human being and let me live. She gave him those eyes, wide, pleading, and a little too soft to be just about a board game. Opa, you'll get cut, that too, which is near your goal, if you make any wrong move, she said. Seren, she shouted, and Seren pressed her lips together. Okay, I'm not saying anything. It's your decision. If you want to sacrifice yourself for her, then go ahead, she said, scoffing, and Wine punched her playfully. Mr. John, please. Puppy eyed, and he looked at her hand, who is holding his hand tight. Jungkook moves his token with Wine smiled widely as she cried her in happiness. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. You're the best, she said in excitement, and Seren rolled her eyes. See, now you will gone. While she gave her a tight lip smile, not realizing she is still hugging him and sent side-eyed on them. And by the way, he's my oppa. My smile faded as she realized. Well, Jungkook looked her and then and corrected herself. It's your turn. Vine rolls the dice and Seren clapped her hand. See, I said, oppa, you're gone. She said and Vine bit her lips nervously. She side-eyed on Jungkook, then her tokens, realizing that she doesn't have any other option to cut his token. And Sarah looked both of them smiling mischievously. Now move, she said, being excited, wanted to know what Wine moved with. She looked at Jungkook and he just stared at her. And Wine pressed her lips together, moving slightly away from her studio. She murmured and cut his token while Sarah laughed and shouted out loud. I said that, while Wine glanced at Jungkook. He was glaring at her. She mouthed and Jungkook gave her a frank. So, he mouthed. Jungkook smiled faintly until his phone rings as he take out the phone from his pocket while pressing the bottle between his lips. Hmm. He just hummed as if he knew who is on the call. Please concern, I need your help. His voice like whisper. I know, right? When you call me, it's regarding help. The girl speaks well, Jungkook didn't say anything for her. But why so urgent? He asked. Just come first, he whispers, and the other wasn't. Okay. He dropped the phone beside the bottle and turned back to mirror. His reflection looked hollow like a man who had poured every last bit of himself into something that never stayed. The world began to tilt, and before he could brace, his knees buckled. The bottle rolled out of his hand, and Jungkook collapsed onto cold floor like a puppet with his string skirt. Everything went still again. Yes, auntie, I'll ask him, but not sure if he say yes or not. She said, walking down on stairs. If he says no, let me talk to him once. She said and smiled. Hey, you can try, she said, smiling when she spotted Jungkook who was heading outside, and she quickened her steps. Wait, auntie, he's here. She hurriedly walked down, calling him. Oppa, she shouted, making Jungkook to stop at his track. He looked back while Saren catch her breath as she extended her phone to him, and he looked at her confused. What? He asked him confused. Auntie wants to talk to you, he said, and he raised hers in one. Auntie, his question. Oh, ma, Wine's mom, she said, and Jungkook's voice left her wet, but no. Why? He asked. Actually, can't I speak to you, huh? She speaks instead, and Saren smiled, and Jungkook took phone from her hand. No, it's not like that, he said, and while she chuckled from the other side. Genchana, she said, chuckling slightly. I was asking you to come today with Saren for shopping. The book fun. Ma'am, why me? I'm shopping. What I will do with you all girls? He asked nervously, gesturing Saren, but Saren looked away. Don't say like that. There is many things to explore. I'm asking you because I see you as my son. So if she won't help me, then whom? She said, and Jungkook couldn't say anything for a while. I guess Ryan already told you about her engagement, so I need your help in preparation. He said, and Jungkook, um, ma'am, actually, I would love to come, but I need to go somewhere and it's urgent. He said. My son is denying me to help. She asked softly and Jungkook. No, actually, it's a no or yes. She asked and Jungkook looked at her and she gestured him to join. To go airport. He mouthed. There are other people who can go. She mouthed back on Jungkook's side. I'm waiting for your answer. She asked again. Oppa is joining, she replied, and Jungkook glares at her as Ryan's mom smiled. I might join a bit late if you don't mind. I have to go somewhere. he said, glaring at Seren while she rolled her eyes. Cat is completely fine. Mine is also not home yet. Till me and Seren will explore, she said, and he just stared at him. By the way, where are you going? She asked. Airport, airport, he said, smiling in happiness, and Jungkook shook his head. Do one thing on the way, please speak quiet. I will ask her to wait for you. She said, and Jungkook faced her tightly as he's about to speak. Dun 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 dun. Oppa will pick her up. She said, smiling, and Jungkook dead clear said, okay, thank you, son. Bye, she said, smiling. Bye, bye, bye. See you in half an hour, she said. Sure. Seren was smiling widely as she looked at her brother who was glaring at her, and she covered her smile. By the way, whom you are going to pick from airport? She asked, correcting her thought on Jungkook's side. So he. Seren's eyes widened. So he only is coming? I mean, why so sudden? How it's happening? She asked, and Jungkook looked at watch before sliding his hands in pocket. I don't have much time. We'll discuss later. He walked on Seren's side heavily. Yeah, I have taken all the things which you told me, Oma. Why didn't you tell me it will be this much heavy? She said on board. It's not heavy, you are weak, she said from other side. Oma, she said annoyingly. Okay, leave that. Come quickly, you're already late, she said and rolled her eyes. I'm getting tanned and sun, and there is no sign of any cab, any vehicle. How I will come? You should have asked Appa to pick me, she said in annoyance. Appa is out of town. Otherwise he would have, she said in side. So I should come walking? No one accepting cab for this area, she said on her mother's side. You don't have to worry, Jungkook is coming to pick you. Her forehead wrinkles spread. What? Why? And why would he? I asked him to. She cutted her off. Why did you did that? At first place, I will come by myself, she stubbornly said. How? Why walking? She asked. It's better I come by walking rather than with him, she murmurs. Fine, listen. It's already 1, so don't show any tantrums to him and come, she said. Oma. Fine, if you didn't reach here by 2, then my slipper will definitely reach you, he scolded while she hears Seren giggling and winding around. Seren, you're enjoying too much, huh? She said, squinting her eyes, and Seren laughed. Come quickly, she hung up the call. I don't need enemies when my Oma is here, she murmurs. She looked for cab, being all frustrated as there are some vehicles coming and going, but no one is stopping, and she groaned. Why am I even doing this? She murmurs, being all pissed when her phone rings, and she rolled her eyes. He's too much right now. What will happen after the marriage? The one I want to like this, not even look at me. See him? We just met only once, idiot, she exhaled furiously. Until a car stopped near her as she peeked and Jungkook came out from the car and she quickly looked away. I must die instead wearing all this. It's hell torture, she murmurs to herself when he walks near her. Actually, you're... Can't you say no to her? She angrily said, cutting him off, and he stared at her because she looks pissed off. The way you bluntly said no to me, you could have do that to her too. She questioned him back to back without giving him a chance to speak. For me, it's clearly no. No means no, then not now. You know, the problem is not me, it's you. You know why? You just listen. Because you love to give false hope to people for no reason, then leave them like they are meant nothing, she added as she breathed. And he stared her as they stared each other for a while. Done? He asked calmly, and my dad glared at him. Should have hated you instead, she murmurs. Do that. You're free to do anything except love, he replied with calmness and coldness while still in his voice, and her lips trembled like she wants to yell but stopped herself. Can you control someone's feelings? She asked, and he looked away. We're getting late, he said, changing the topic in Chinook. Run, run more. You know what? You are a coward person, a person with no values. He glared at her with dark eyes. Be in your limit. I didn't give you that much right that you will question my values, he said. That comes under anything, he said, backfiring and felt you have that much energy? He asked, looking at the sweat on her forehead as she was holding. Much more energy and courageous than you, she said, and he stared at her. Well, the girl peeked from sitting inside the car. Who is she? He never listens. Anyone like this? She murmurs, munching snacks. Jungkook shook his head as he took the bags from her hands, and Wine shut her eyes in annoyance. Did I ask you to do that? She murmured. These bags are much more heavier than you, he said, scoffing, and Wine glared at him. I did not allow you to body shame me, he scoffed. You think you have her? Scoffing, and her mouth hung open. To John, stomping foot, and he walked to keep the bags in the car. She stared him down. She stood there glaring at him, and Jungkook looked. Do I have to invite you to sit in? He asked, and she looked away, giving him folded arms across his chest. Or you want me to put you inside like your bags? He said, and she glared at him. Mr. John, she stopped as she heard a girl laughing sound. She looked here and there to find one. Don't tell me you have started smuggling girls. Jungkook gave her a look, then tightened his expression. He said it. And you know what? You are my next target. I will send you to islands, then do your love story with animals. He sarcastically said, and Wine glared at her. I knew that. That's what your intentions are. Otherwise, why would you talk to me so nicely? You want me to get trapped, then sell me to someone. At the end, you're a mafia. She said, and Jungkook clenched his jaws. Don't talk nonsense, he said, almost glaring at her, and Wine scoffed. Now I got to know your real intentions. Jungkook pulled her, making her breath itch. You should stop watching drama. You don't even know you are becoming delusional, and that's mental issue. Whispers in warning, and her expression turned serious. So you could have said these things from distance too, she nervously said, and he loosened the grip slowly, and she corrected her. That's not mental illness, Jungkook. You're wrong. The girl speaks, lowering the car window. Vine looked at the girl and immediately looked at Jungkook as if she is searching for an answer from him. Well, he looked at her as she again shifted her gaze to the girl sitting inside. She came outside while Vine shifted her gaze back to Jungkook while he didn't look at her as the girl smiled at her. So she introduced herself, approaching Vine for a handshake while Vine refused to give her attention. So he smiled awkwardly as she looked at hand and slowly took it back, and her gaze analyzes Vine's gaze, which is fixed on Jungkook. There is silence, but her eyes yelling for uncountable question, which Jungkook kept stealing glances from her. There is silence on both sides, so he decided to break the awkward silence as she laughed a little. I know you must be wondering who I am, she said nervously as Jungkook slowly looks at Sohee and Sohee looks at him. Actually, I'm Jungkook's. He held her hand immediately and squished a little. As Sohee looks at him, and he gestured her while Vine's gaze shifts to their hands as she looked at Jungkook with annoyance and furious. I'm Jungkook's best friend, she speaks, looking in his eyes as she put her other hand on his. Jungkook's gaze shifts to Vine as she made feast, and his breath caught in his throat. And so he looks back at Vine. Nice to meet you. And while Vine looked away. Jungkook noticed her fuming in anger, so he decided to speak. Let's go, we are getting late, he said coldly, correcting his thought, only to earn a glare from her, and he immediately shifted his gaze back to Sohee. Yeah, she said with a smile. Sohee opened the door and sits in front as Vine closed her eyes looking away. Jungkook noticed, but decided to ignore as he opened the door for her to sit. Sit, he said, looking everywhere except her. Clenching her jaws and feast, she furiously walked, passing by him while Jungkook shut his eyes. And not realizing, she yanked the door closed. His hand was still there. With sudden action, his finger got collapsed between the door. A sharp hiss escaped from his lips as his finger caught between the door.
गम मिल गया था
Vine's eyes widened as she immediately turned around, the anger in her expression replaced by a startled concern. My god,
जो
Jungkook,
सिर्फ
are you okay?
मेरा था सिर्फ
Vine froze in
मेरा
place, guilt washing over her.
उसी
I
को
didn't,
खो दिया
whisper barely audible.
हाँ वो
Jungkook held his injured hand and
जिन्हें
pain
मैं
etched across
चूमता
his face,
था
but when
तेरे
Vine is about to
दिल
rush out, instinctively he took a
में
step
यूं
back.
में बाकी ना रहा
I'm fine.
हो
You are not fine. Look at your fingers. They are turning red. Ryan watched. Her heart was
तू
aching and
है
angry at the
मेरी
same time.
सांस
So his hands on
बता
her.
दे
Jungkook
कैसे
allowing it.
मैं
Him pulling
जीऊंगा
away from
तेरे
her.
बिना
Everything felt like a slap.
हो
Jungkook took his hand back.
बेवफा मेरी
I'm fine,
तू
Sohi.
है तो
He took his
मेरी
hand back
सांस
and so he gave him a
बता
look.
दे कैसे मैं
Everything is
जीऊंगा
so wrong with you, Jungkook. How long
तेरे
you will
बिना
keep telling yourself that you don't feel any pain? She angrily scolded him. Jungkook shut his eyes tightly as he looked at her. We'll talk later, he calmly said as he walked and sat in driving seat while Sohee groaned in disappointment. Vine looks at Jungkook as
हर
his
वक्त
fingers
दिल
place around the
को
steering
जो
wheel. Her chest clenched, her
सताए
face slowly loosened,
ऐसी
and
कमी
her anger
है
was replaced by something else, guilt. I
मैं भी
I
न
didn't know your hand was there.
जानूं
I didn't
ये
mean.
कि इतना
Then you should have
क्यों
seen Vine. She complained with
लाजमी
fury as
है
Vine looked
तू
down. I'm sorry,
नींद
Mr. John. Her
जाके
voice was
न
bare
रोती
finished.
कितनी रातें डर
He didn't
गई
respond. His jaws was tight,
एकाएक दिल
eyes
के
fixed
उंगलियां
outside the
भी
window
जल
as the
गई
car began to
हो
move again. The silence inside was no longer awkward, it was
नवा
suffocating.
मेरी तू
She
है
looked
तो
down as his hand
मेरी
resting on
सांस
his thigh,
जो
slightly
बता
red.
दे
A quiet
कैसे
lump
मैं
formed in her throat.
जीऊंगा तेरे बिना
She reached
हो
into her bag, pulled out a water bottle,
मेरी
and
तू
placed
है
it
तो
near his lap
मेरी
without
सांस
a word.
चली
He didn't take it,
बता दे
but he
कैसे
didn't push
मैं
it away either.
जीऊंगा
I'm sorry.
तेरे बिना
Still, he didn't look at her, but his finger twitched as if he heard her. So he stared both of them as she looked at Jungkook and sighed. Leave it. He has a habit of hiding pain. He doesn't feel pain. There is sarcasm in her voice, while his focus was on road. While Vine looked at the pain relief spray and bandage in her hands, and looked at him, and slowly she put them back, settling back as a lone tear escaped from her eyes, and she quickly
तू
wiped.
आखिरी आंसू
No, not this one, she said, rejecting one more dress on Vine's mom's side. Aren't you being too picky? She said, and Seven nodded. It should be as pretty as her. You know, something unique, kind of, she said, and her mom shook her head, smiling. Come on, let's buy anything, she said tightly, and Seven sighed heavily. She gets tired first, she said to her mother, and mother nodded, smiling. Why can't we do one thing? Let's video call her soon to be husband. We will choose outfit for her bride. Shall we? Sarah nodded in excitement. No, don't do that. We must be busy. She immediately responded and Sarah's gaze froze. Oh my, must be busy. Wife knows everything about husband, right? Teasingly, and her mom chuckled slightly while Ryan looked at her frustrated. It's enough, Sarah. Don't do that, please. Frustration was clearly visible in her voice, and Sarah smiled, slowly faded, looking at her. She looks at her and observed she is not happy, forcing herself to do so when Sohee and Jungkook walked in. Done? She asked to Seven. Nah, not yet, she replied, and so his eyes widened in surprise a little. I had my lunch and you're still choosing dress? Come on, it shouldn't be taking this much time, she said and said inside. You don't know. It takes a lot of time, she said, and so he sighed, raising her hands as she said, yeah, you young generation. Okay, let's do one thing. Ryan will choose two dress and we will vote. Which one gets highest vote, Ryan will try. She said, and Ryan groaned and Ryan said, in. Last one, sweetheart, she said. Designer pulled the dress for Ryan to select as she looks at Seren's and Seren gestures her. And she selects two dresses uninterestedly. Seren's eyes lighten up. I'll choose this one, she said excitedly as she looks at everyone else to select. Yeah, me too, she said. Me too. Ryan's gaze shifts to Jungkook, who is standing in a corner staring at her from distance as Seren looks at her brother. Oppa you? She asked and Jungkook startled a bit. Me? Why I need to? Come on, just say this one or this one. It's simple. She said and Jungkook gasped slightly. Every time they make eye contact, it was awkward, whether it is Jungkook who is stealing glance or Ryan. Jungkook slowly met Ryan's eyes, which is still holding the guilt, and gathering herself as she asked through her gaze, raising the dress slightly. He shook his head, slowly gesturing her, while others still waiting for his answer. And they were talking unspoken words that only they could understand. He gestured his gaze on another one, and she smiled slightly, pressing her lips as she put the other dress. I don't like this one, she said, putting the dress back which everyone selected. Wait, what? You don't like it? She said, being surprised. I like this one, she said in very low voice, looking in Jungkook's eyes while he looked away as he glanced at her. Wait, are you serious, Ryan? Before she could complete, she walked towards changing room, leaving all of them surprised as Seren exchanged glances with her mother and her mother shook her head sighing. Moody, Seren sighed. She is taking revenge because I didn't buy the dress she selected for my engagement, she said, smiling, shaking her head. So he looks at Jungkook, who kept staring where Ryan got disappeared. She sighed and walked near him. It's not your cup of tea, she murmured, suddenly breaking the silence as Jungkook looks at her. She folded arms across her chest. It's your fault, you know that, she said, raising brows, and Jungkook looked here and there. No girl ever chases a man where there is no approach from other side, she said, and he looked at her sleepily. I'm damn sure there must be any approach from your side, JK, she uttered as he tightened his face, looking away. He doesn't want to make any kind of eye contact with her. It's. He tried to say something, but so he cuts him off. Every girl knows a man looking at her. She cuts him off as he tightens his jaw. Is it wrong? Caring for my sister's friend. I treated her as Seren. He speaks coldly. Like your sister? She asked, and raising brows while his ice cream raged, and so he scoffed. I never thought I would be seeing you scared, she said, and Jungkook just stared her. You know why? His breath was uneven, and so he sighed. She patted his shoulder. It's up to you. I am with you, she said. Oh my god, Ella is off, my beauty queen, she said, smiling, widely covering her mouth as Wine stepped out. So he turned back to see well Jungkook didn't look there. As he felt himself going numb, so he smiled. I'm going to faint, she said, gasping dramatically. While Ryan's eyes fixed on Jungkook as she desperately wants him to look at her. While he has no courage to look at her, because he feels as if If he looked at her, he might not ever look back. The tension thickened between them. So he looks at Jungkook smiling only to find not looking at her. He was looking down. At least looked at her once, she said, and he looked here and there. Vine clutches her dress tightly as her lips pressed between the thin line. Vine's breath catches as she turns and walks away. No words, no glance, just silence. Her silent smile shattering in slow motion. Am I not looking good? She asked Serena and her mother as lips trembled and with unspoken pain visible on her voice. No, why are you looking like this? You're looking so pretty, her mother said, cupping her cheek. Of course. I guess it couldn't be perfect than this, she said, and her mother nodded. You're finaling this one, she said to this designer. Sure. Okay, I'll do payment then. We'll move to jewelry section, she says, while Ryan is looking in the direction he got disappeared. He was sitting on sofa and his head was resting on his hand. As he flinched and suddenly he felt a touch on his knuckles. As he looks up and his gaze softened slowly looking at her but tightened again, realizing something. She looked at his bruised hand and the reason is her. He tried to get up but she held his wrist instinctively and he shut his eyes with annoyance. Ryan, what's wrong with you? Before he could complete, she put finger on his lips. There is no complaint on her face this time, no anger, just innocence and eyes filled with guilt. You were right. I should stop hurting others. I am behaving immature, right? She speaks softly and he just stared at her. As his gaze shifted to her fingers on his lips, she hesitantly took back, looking down. She slowly knelt down in front of him, and it was almost like a whisper. As she took out the bandages from her bag and he watched her doing all this. Someone will see us, he murmured, and she subtly just stared at him. I'm not scared, she replied as she gently took his hand in hers, and he gulped hard. Her fingers were trembling slightly, careful not to hurt him, but Shankar wasn't focused on the sting of the spray. His eyes were fixated on her lower lashes, the way her brows knitted in worry, how her lips parted in silence every time she looked at his phone. She was right there, but he felt like he could lose her at any second. She checked on him if he's hurting or not, but he didn't even flinch. Not because it didn't hurt, but because she was the one touching him. His gaze fixed on her, not fear. His gaze lingered on her like she was something he wasn't sure he deserved to witness again. Something sacred, something too precious to touch, but too haunting to ignore. I'm sorry, it wasn't intentional, I swear, she murmured and kept staring at him. I didn't mean to. She stopped as his hand brushed hers, and she felt goosebumps as she looked at him. He's looking at her with so much emotions. If hurting me makes you happy, then do it. But please be happy, he whispered, and her gaze softened. Her eyes immediately watered, which she was holding from a long time, and she immediately looks on as her tears slides from her cheeks as he gulped his lamb down. He shook her hand slightly. Hey, Ryan, I'm asking you to be happy. You're crying. Don't do it. He said, smiling slightly, and she looked at him, and her lips are trembling badly. Don't cry, he said, wiping her one day, and she closed her eyes, feeling his touch. When something isn't meant to be, that means fate has better things for you. Maybe you'll find someone who loves you more, who can make you happy. He said, and she looked at him. I don't want a fate that doesn't have you in it. She said, wiping her tears, and Jungkook's smile faded slowly, blurring her lips, and he took his hand back, and she stared at him. I'm not sure what's truly life has for me. How long I can bear this, I don't know. She whispered the last line as he looked away, as he struggled to find words. And she held his hand gently as his fingers he curled his finger into his. It's okay if you don't love me. But when you act like this, it feels like you do. She confessed and he closed his eyes. Mr. Chong, no matter how much you lie, your eyes never lied. Even when you told me that you don't love me, your eyes screamed the truth. Eyes never lie, he whispers as a tear drops on his hand. Push me away as much as you can, but there will be a day you will realize you shouldn't do that. And I won't be here. He immediately looked at her with scolding gaze. Don't talk nonsense, he said with clear warning, and she chuckled slightly with tears. Basic red meeting. He whispered and she smiled, nodding. Me too, she whispered back. Their eyes locked, his filled with unspoken emotion, hers with a soft sorrow. But before the moment could stretch further, a small hand tapped on Ryan's shoulder. She turned to find a little boy staring up her. Nona, my ball. He pointed near her feet. Oh, sorry, your ball. Here you go, she said, extending him his ball, and the kid smiled. Thank you, Nona. Ryan smiled. The kid kept glancing at Jungkook. You're welcome, baby. As he's about to walk but looked back at them. Nona, will you play with me? He asked innocently and Ryan chuckled slightly. Okay, but where is your parents, baby? She asked. My mom is over there. He pointed off into the distance and Ryan nodded. What's her name? She asked, holding his hand. So, he said, and Ryan smiled as she pinched his cheeks slightly. Such a cute name, just like you. She pinched his cheeks playfully, making him giggle. You're also very cute. Ryan laughed slightly and he glanced at Jungkook, who was staring down. Is he your husband? He asked, pointing at Jungkook, and Ryan's smile slowly faded as she looked at Jungkook. But she smiled back at Suho. Unfortunately, no. Smiling, shaking her head a bit dramatically. Then Ryan, he was wiping your tears. I saw it. He asked cutely, and Ryan stared at him. My appa does when my Oma cries. He loves her a lot. He said, giggling, and Ryan smiled. Your appa loves your mama a lot. She said, and he nodded. Yes, he said excitedly, and Ryan smiled. Is your friend? He asked, and Ryan shook her head. Then why are you together like this? He asked with curiosity, and Ryan said, you are too young to understand. She said, and Suho shook his head. No, I am 6 years old. I am not baby anymore. I am a big boy. He said, and Ryan chuckled at his cuteness. I watch dramas too. Ryan's eyes widened. You watch dramas? She asked, and he nodded. Naughty boy, Ryan said, pinching his cheek. As he glanced at Jungkook, whose gaze fixed on Ryan, and he gestured Ryan with his hand to come close, and Ryan did as he said, and he leaned to her ears. If he's your not husband, why is looking at you like that? It was a whisper, but loud enough for Jungkook to hear. Before Ryan looked at him, he looked away, gasping. Ryan smiled slightly. That's what I want to know too. Maybe you should ask him. He said, and he shook his head. He looks strange, just like mafia I have seen in ancient Rome. He whispered, and Ryan chuckled. You're very smart, she said. He's actually a mafia. She whispered, and his eyes widened in horror. Don't tell this to anyone, she whispered. Aren't you scared of him? He carries guns too? He asked, and Ryan bit her lip. Maybe, but I never seen it, she said, and Jungkook rolled his eyes, seeing her childish behavior. Ryan, what are you telling to him? He finally spoke, tone annoyed. See, I'm not sure, he might have a gun, but he never used it on me. Jungkook rolled his eyes, clearly overheard and deaf. What is his name? He asked curiously. Mr. Ruby. Who scrunched his nose and Wine chuckled. John Jungkook, she said. If you're not friends, then who is he to you? He asked in a fine gesture him to come close as he does too. He is my Roman Empire, she whispered, thinking it's not audible to Jungkook, but it does. And he looks at her. And he realizes if this girl given a chance, then she will tell the world how much she loves him. I guess your mom is searching for you. She whispers, looking behind him as Suho does too. Oh shit, I should go, otherwise I will get scolded. He said, face palming himself, and Wine chuckled. Go, she said. We'll play together other than Una. He said, and Wine nodded as he's about to run, but he turns back to Wine and kissed Wine cheeks, making her chuckle softly. Bye, see you, he said, waving at her. Bye, cutie pie, she said, waving back, and he glanced at Jungkook. Bye, Mr. Roman Empire, he said, waving at Jungkook. Jungkook's cheeks flushed red, and Wine's eyes widened as he giggled at her and ran. Too naughty. Her smile slowly slipping away from her face as silence fell again between them. Wine turned towards Jungkook, expecting another cold dismissal, but he wasn't looking at her with detachment anymore. His eyes were stormy, full, as if holding back 1,000 unsaid things. Why do you always say things like that so easily? His voice was low, almost shaky. Because I mean them. Her reply came just as quietly. You ruin yourself, then let it be you who ruins me. She didn't hesitate this time. It shouldn't affect you if it stains me, she said with a subtle smile. She got up as he just stared at her because she always amazed him, even if she tries not to. She looked at him one last time before walking, and he stood there alone. She ain't picking my phone, where she disappears every time, she said to her mom, and her mom looks frustrated. I'm done with this girl, seriously, she said. Where is Jungkook to? She asked and said inside, location not found. He's there, she said, pointing as Jungkook was approaching from the other end of the hallway, walking briskly towards them with a strange tension in his shoulder. Location found, she said, smiling, and so he smiled, shaking her head. He must know where is flying, she murmurs. How will Opa know? She asked, and so he bit her lips. I mean, maybe, she said and said inside. Opa, you know where is flying? She asked, and Jungkook got nervous for a moment. Jungkook froze briefly, just enough for Zoe to catch it. Me? Oh, no, isn't she here? She isn't picking calls too, she said, being frustrated as he took out his phone immediately. Jungkook's face tightened. He pulled out his phone quickly, dialing Wine's number as he bit his lip in worry. Zoe's eyes wandered, scanning their surroundings, and that's when something caught her attention. A red dot on Jungkook's shoulder. Her brows furrowed. Her gaze followed the faint red laser coming from the higher balcony, hidden in shadows. Her stomach dropped. Jungkook, move! She screamed and sprinted towards him as time seemed to freeze. The crack of suppressed sniper shot echoed, sharp, horrifying. The glass window behind them shattered with a piercing crack, caused chaos to interrupt. Chopper screamed and ducked, backs clear. Jungkook flinched, but Sohee tackled him hard from the side, both of them crashing to the floor behind a marble column. The bullet missed by inches, ricocheting off the glass behind them. Oh my god, People around begin shouting, scattering in panic. What that? Who's shooting? Jungkook sat up quickly, shilling Sohee. He looked like a switch had flipped, his eyes sharp, not panic but trained. Stay here, don't move. He pulled out an earpiece from his back pocket, flipping in it. Something cold and practical about him emerged. Ofa, what's going on? He didn't look at her. His gaze was scanning the upper floors. Shooter on level 3 northeast balcony. Attempted hit failed. Evac in progress. Civilian zone breached. People start running in every direction, pushing past each other with no sense of where to go. Security alarms blare, but are drowned out by the roar of panic scream. Shango quickly got up, protecting his people. Wood Black Sound Point Mall. Lock northeast exits. I want eyes everywhere. Snipers on standby. No civilians harmed. Should only move on my word. He uttered, while Wine Mom and Sarah looks at them worried and concerned. What is happening? She yelled while crying. Shh! Just stay with me, he uttered. Wine, my daughter, Wine. She panicked, and Shanguk realized it too. He doesn't know what to do this moment because there was panic all around and he can't leave them as he decided to leave them at safe place. He moved cautiously, people screaming, crying, and when Jungkook gulped hard as he tapped on his earpiece. Jason cleared the lower floor. Taehang, I need your team at the east wing. Civilian protection is priority. Get to know me now. He spoke coldly. We are on way, Jungkook. On my way, Jungkook. I sent my team already, he said. Just stay safe there, he said, and Jungkook nodded. His phone vibrates. Text from a gangman. Team 1 in position. Extraction route open. Follow me. Stay quiet. Don't stop no matter what you hear. Take Serene and Mam to underground parking. Exit C4. He instructed to Sohi as he is about to move. Where are you going? She asked, being panicked and scared. Fine, he whispers. They are here for you, she said, panicking, holding him protectively. I have to find her. Just take them, Sohi, he said with urgency, and Sohi was scared. Just do it as it is your job. You are trained, he said as Sohi nodded, gulping. Shanguk ran from there while Sohi looks at them. Come with me. We don't have much time, she said with panic. Seren and Wine Mom isn't ready to leave as they were worried for Wine because she is still not here. Wine's mom crying and surrender. Muppa Wine, nothing will happen to them. Come quickly. She forcefully takes them to escort from crowd. Wine splashes cold water on her face, the sound echoing slightly in the quiet restaurant. Droplets cling to her lashes as she lifts her head slowly to look at her reflection. Teeth, you're okay. She exhales deeply, trying to shake off the earlier tension. But just as she reaches for a paper towel, muffled shouts, slow, then sharper, more voice join. Something isn't right. Her brows furrow. She still goes. What's going on? She decided to walk and check as she opened the door and she saw mall's lights were flickering and people are running here and there and stepping onto each other and her body immediately stiffened. Oma, she murmurs as her finger fumbles for her phone. As she shakily pulls it out of her pocket, her thumb trembles as she tries to dial. Wine grips her phone, still frozen in the middle of chaos, when suddenly a small, familiar voice pierces the madness. Wine's heart drops. Her eyes snap toward the sound wild with fear. She sees him, Soho, tiny, terrified, standing alone near the overturned chairs by the food court. His little face is streaked with tears, his small body shaking. Suho, Vine slunks forward. Suho, she yells, shoving through the panicked crowd, shoving people aside with force. A shopping bag flies, a woman screams, a chair is kicked. Vine reaches Suho just as someone nearly stepped on his hand. She drops to her knees and scoops him into her arms. I caught you, I'm here. Suho sobs into her neck, wrapping his arms around her tightly. Umma, he cried. Vine looked around as she finds the crowd is wild and crazy. Running blindly, she quickly moves Suho under a table to protect him from a crowd crying. Suho kept crying. Shh, everything is alright, Suho. She tried to calm him down as he slowly stopped crying as he hugged Vine protectively. Vine tried to call, but network is out of reach because of sudden cut of the network. As she looked around, maybe she could spot her mother, Serene. She looks up. The mall lights are still flickering. Alarms echo faintly. People scream in distance, running past like shadows. She knows being here with him won't protect them for so long. She crouches lower, one arm wrapped around Suho, scanning left and right. Okay, baby, we are going to play a game now. You are going to hold on to me very tight, alright? Suho nods quickly, still scared but trusting. Good boy, we are going to sneak like ninjas, okay? No sound, just fast feet. She grabs her back tighter, lifts Suho slightly off the ground so he can rest on her hip, and begins moving towards the emergency exit signs, dodging overturned tables, spilled drinks, abandoned stallers. Her eyes are darting, looking for her mom, for Serene, for anyone. Please let them be okay. Vine is pushing through the crowd, Suho clinging tightly to her. She turns a corner near a shattered boutique window, and she stopped as she spotted him. Her breath catches. Jungkook. She murmurs as she is about to move there, but people pushed her. But she balanced hers. But when she looks back, he already disappeared from her sight. The chaos is mounting. The mall is falling apart, with more walls crumbling, lights flickering, the sound of something massive crashing through the building framework. People are running, panicking, scattering in all directions. Vine still trying to shield Soho, keeping him close as they are maneuvered through the mass of people. Stay close. We have to find your mom, okay? Soho notes, his face buried in her shoulder, his tiny hands clinging to her as she walks quickly through the crowd. Smoke screams, shattered glass crunches beneath panicked feet. The crowd is in full chaos, people running, pushing, trembling, children crying, alarms blaring. Jungkook pushes through the stampede. Mask up hallway is face. Eyes sharp, haunted, his phone is clutched tightly in one hand, other resting near the weapon concealed beneath his jacket. Did you find her? Where is she? He asked. Negative. Too much movement. Cameras are cut. Damn it. He tears off the earpiece. His chest rises and falls rapidly. He scans left, right, nothing. His jaw clenches. His pulse thunders in his ears. Find where the hell you are. Every second is a blade to his spine. People are pushing past him, but all he sees is her. In his mind, fragile, alone, scared. Then a flash. Lights flicker violently, casting strobe like a chaos. And through chaotic blur of motion, there she is, Vine trembling her back against a wall, hugging a small child. Her face is pale, eyes starting in fear. She looks lost. Jungkook's breath stops. He takes a step forward, lips parting. Fine, he tries to yell, but the noises drones him. His voice doesn't reach near. She doesn't see him. When he is about to move in her direction, he observes something as he looks up. A huge steel beam falls from the ceiling right in her path. His eyes widen without wasting time he rushed towards her, screaming her name, but she barely could hear him. He runs, shoving through people, throwing off his coat. Everything shows except his breath, his feet, his pulse. She is frozen. She doesn't even know what's about to fall. She hears someone screaming her name as she looks in the direction where the voice coming from. As she looks, Jungkook making way towards her, and a relieved smile appears on her face. But when she is about to move in his direction, lights completely went off. Jungkook's eyes widened, being horrified. When he couldn't see Ryan anymore, for the first time, he panicked and he paced towards her. Rescue teams rushed there. He's there, he uttered as they made their way. But so he held his tongue. She pointed at something as his eyes widened. Come on, clear that area, move, beam is falling, he shouted in his calm with urgency. And so he quickly moved to help people. Why? She murmured as she looked up. Wine move. She screamed as Swine panics, doesn't know what to do. Her mind completely stopped working. So he tries to run to her, but a shadow grabs, so his arms yanking her back just as the massive steel beam and chandelier above her come crashing down with a deafening boom. Simultaneously, Vine is pulled backward by another figure, just in time, stumbling behind a pillar, with Suho tightly against her chest. The crash shakes the floor, lights flicker, then cut out, darkness shallows the mall. Vine shut her eyes tightly, hugging Suho, and her soul almost left her body. The sound was so loud that it horrified her to her core. Lights went up. Vine, he panicked. Mr. John, she murmurs unconsciously as she slowly opened her eyes. Are you okay? Someone asked, an unfamiliar figure. So he was shocked as his eyes immediately searched for Ryan, and she was other side, and he sighed in relief. Ryan's eyes searched for Jungkook instinctively as she spotted Jungkook with Sohee, almost hugging and holding her protectively. Their eyes meet just for a second. Something inside her flatters. He came, but he didn't come to her. A strange chill settles in her spine. She looks down at Soho, still clinging to her tightly, unaware of the emotional storm raging in her chest. "You okay, baby?" she asked Soho, gathering herself back as she didn't look at him. "Make sure Mall is clear," he spoke in calm as he looked back at Fine. "Ma'am, you're safe now, don't worry," he assured as she nodded while she kept glancing at Jungkook. As Jungkook helped Sohee to stand and he moved in fine direction. As he's about to approach her, but Taehyung interrupts. "Jungkook, you should move from here ASAP. I'll handle," he said, and Jungkook's eyes fixed on Ryan. "We will escort the rest of the people," he said, shifting his gaze between Sohee and Jungkook. Ryan tries to get up as Jungkook moved to help her, but she got up, taking support of the wall, and he stood there being anxious. Suho climbed down from her as he was still holding her finger, and Ryan looking here and there, still searching for her mom and best friend, and she approached him. She is fine. I escorted them," she replied instead, and Ryan sighed in relief. It was all over. Media, it's a terrorist attack. It's not. She cuts him off as she looks at Jungkook, whose gaze fixed on Ryan. They were here for She stopped as they saw Jungkook hugging Wine, as he couldn't hold himself back, and Wine got froze at his spot. Also, Taehyung looked at him surprised. He broke the hug and cupped her face. "Are you okay? Did you get hurt somewhere?" His voice filled with urgency, and Wine stared at him, and his expression was concerned, deeply concerned. Vine couldn't process for a moment as he was checking her from head to toe until he spotted her elbow bleeding as he is about to check it, but Vine took her hand back and moved a step backwards. "I'm okay," he burst threatened. "Are you out of your mind? Jungkook, move from here before you get mopped." Media is rushing here, he orders, while his all focus on Vine. He instructed some rescue member to escort Wine and others. "Ma'am, please to go with them," he instructed to Wine, and Wine nodded. She didn't even look at him as she held Suho and walked with rescue team, and didn't even look back at him. And Jungkook kept looking at her, and when he felt a hand on his shoulder, as he looks at Sehang. "Oh, she is safe," he assured him. He slid his mask up as a tear slides from his eyes, and Taehyung's eyes widen a little in surprise. "Come back, kid. Jimin and others are waiting for you." "So he," she nodded. "Come, Jungkook."